Good afternoon. Today I want to paint some butterflies with you with these new KMS watercolors. So this is the Blooms and Brews palette, which I am obsessed with. I love all these floral colors, and I'm excited to use the browns and some butterflies. So the first one I want to paint is using Orchid. Kind of just deciding what butterfly shape I want to do and hopefully fill the page with them. I didn't do a sketch. This is going to be very loose. I'm using bow hung paper. Definitely not going to be symmetrical. I'm going to try. I'm going to go and kind of overlap and make the bottom wings a little bit darker. So that's Orchid. I'm going to maybe tap in a few places of darker color. And almost how I'm going to swatch these colors. Next one will be this caramel latte as a base, and maybe drop in some cappuccino. That is a really pretty cappuccino latte color. Okay. A little bit of that towards the center. And maybe something like this. We'll see how that layer dries. The next color I want to use is, it has to be the California Poppy. I want some of that and maybe some of the caramel latte to calm that down. Okay. Maybe we'll do a side view on this one. And then I'm going to lift a little of it here. And some caramel latte for the bottom wing. Maybe a little bit of that same orange. Oof, that's beautiful. I think that's my favorite. Okay, I'm gonna use a blue. I'm gonna probably use just a tiny bit of this cornflower. I know this is gonna be a really bright blue. So I'm gonna really water that down on my palette. And maybe just change up the angle here. That is stunning. I love that. So this is cornflower. Thank you, Galena. I'm sure some people find it relaxing to paint butterflies, but this is a little stressful. Another one. Again, just looking at my palette, looking at where I want some bright colors and some muted colors. So I want to use Snapdragon. I guess up at the top I'll use Snapdragon. Okay, here we go. I know this one's going to be really bright, so I'm going to make it maybe a little bit smaller. So, wow, that is brilliant. And autumn wings. I am going to end up doing a bit more on a second coat, a little layered action here, so I want that to dry. So many colors that I still haven't used yet. I'm thinking sunflower and cold brew. Sunflower. I'll do a different view. Something like this. This one should be dry now, so I can go back and add some different details. And blend that out a bit. Okay, I like that a lot more right now. Okay, next one. I'm not sure if this one's dry, so maybe something with the blue, which is just gonna have to be, I was gonna say the same blue but darker, but I have these June colors from KMS, and this shimmery deep sea just feels like it's gonna look good with some space blue details, some metallic shimmer. These are butterflies, so I guess I'm gonna do it. So deep sea. Oh. I'm just gonna bring this a little closer to do some dots. Ooh, that is doing some bleeding, but I'm okay with it. Let that do its thing as an underlayer. I was not quite dry yet. That'll just be a shimmery wing. Okay, all fixed on there. It makes me think, oh, I can actually see how wet this still is. So, time for some more little ones, maybe. I'll switch from my Princeton Neptune brush, and again, debating what color I want to use. Cold brew and some blue, maybe. So I'm gonna do something right here. You gotta have another one that's on its side. That's a nice wing. And maybe a lighter value. Just something like that. And then I'll do the body. Moss. Yeah, I don't know exactly where I want to add moss. It's such a pretty green, so green butterfly, like right there, maybe. Let's see. That was a lot of color, but let's. Yes, butterflies can be green. I was thinking of doing some actual little greenery, some like little ferns in there. But you're right, there are green butterflies. This actually looks like a little fairy now. Yeah, it really is fairy-like. Maybe that's a little other wing behind it. Okay. I want to start adding some bodies into some of them, just so they start looking ready for flight. Especially since some of them are still very wet. So let's try this guy. I'm okay if it bleeds a little bit. I could go for black, but I want to keep it cohesive with the color palette. Oh, you think watercolor is so intimidating? Yeah, I always just found it more fun than anything. So I'm only intimidated when I try something very different, like painting people or like a cityscape, something that's outside of my style, so not too loose. But it's still fun to try that. Okay. Okay. So I have a feeling this one might bleed a little, but that's okay. Ooh, it's coming out really nice. I really like that one. Okay, switching up to coffee beans brown. It's very subtle changes, but I like it. Any of you afraid of butterflies? I know some people are. Maybe you've already left if you are. This should be really approachable to anyone. You can paint a butterfly just with a couple of strokes of a brush. And this would be really fun to just use some ink, some white acrylic pen, make it mixed media. Like, I could spend all day tomorrow just adding little details to this. I wanted this one to just be watercolor and KMS though. That brown one is perfect. This little guy that I just did, or I love the bleeds on this one and the little details on the ends of the wings. I like this one, the bottom one or the middle one. Okay, let me try and finish off this guy with some like under wing. Is that right? I know they have names. Both the brown ones, yeah. I just like that color bleed right there from that orange one, so that's my favorite one so far. Okay, I have to do something for this pink one. I'm thinking maybe if I get some little brown detail on the ends, that'll really make it interesting. So let's see. I have to make sure my brown is potent enough that it actually shows up. Same level of saturation. Oh my gosh, I saw Leia and I have a feeling that's Marcel. Hello, Marcel. You caught me live. I should ask, what time zone are you in? Where are you right now? And you caught me painting something other than flowers for once. You're back in San Diego for now. Do you have another trip planned or a summer in San Diego? I am about 2 weeks away from the end of school, so I'm very excited for a little bit of a break. Yes, I like that, being spontaneous with the traveling, yes. Theme is just painting with some new colors that I got. I'm going to be teaching some Girl Scouts how to paint watercolors in about 2 weeks. And I thought maybe butterflies would be a good theme for them. So it's been on my mind. I'm just playing around with different shapes and patterns. So this is mostly the color palette that I'm sticking with. And then maybe this one is going to have some dots. We'll see. Thick body for this one. Okay, and then I've got this fairy one in the middle. I have to finish that one off. It's sort of the inverse of this one. I think I want to mix in some of that caramel latte, that lighter brown, to give him a lighter body. Hi, Rustic Farm Wife. You caught me live. All right, the hardest part, the little antennae. Hopefully this one is dry and I can add some details. No flowers in sight, Rustic Farm Life. Isn't this different? Thank you. I was holding my breath a lot for that one and just realized it. Not really making watercolor very relaxing. it does take my mind off the other work tasks I still have to do, like grade a lab and make an organic chemistry test. They're coming together. They're almost there. Okay. A little bit darker down here. Just a little extra layer to make that stand out. Some subtle detail on that one. This one I don't want to touch. I really love how that one came out. Something on this one. Maybe I can go into that metallic blue and add some details on the top wing only. Okay. Want this to be a little bit more subtle, so I'm adding some water. Yeah, I know that next little line is going to be really bleeding through, so that has to dry. Thinking about what else I want to add to this. We can do some splatter at the end of this really sweet metallic color rain. I can do it in a few places right now where I know I want to see it. Like that. There we go. That's just the smaller splatter. It was just too empty. Also not totally loving how asymmetrical this is coming out, so that's what's gonna happen. A new layer. And just makes it look too uneven. So I'll see. Yeah. That the other side is a bit bigger. There we go. I'll go over that with something else. And then only we will know. What I could do is add some more of that blue. Kind of tap it in and let it fade. It looks really good on that wing. Just needs a little help on the other. I already like that more. Yeah. Simple on that one was a good idea. I'm just lifting some of this. Hi, Cherie. Thank you. I like that slightly more too. Okay. And that still needs its antennae. I think that's the only one. All right. I think I am very close to being done. Trying to think of what else I might want to play around with. Giving this one a little texture to it, something interesting. This was really just to see all the colors from that KMS set, Blooms and Brews. I think I used everything except Spring Grass. That's the only one I didn't do. But all the other colors are there. this set will release on Saturday. So that'll be available on Saturday. Thank you for watching. I think you might see this on my Instagram soon. I might add a little bit of white in a few places. I see some places. But thank you for joining me. I hope you liked it, found it relaxing. I hope you have a great Thursday wherever you are.